This is my beginning work for the box that I'm going to build. 4 by 8 feet long and 4 feet high. Okay, the board's been put together. They've been leveled on those bricks for support, and it is ready to have the flooring put down on it. Okay, I've got the coating put on the bottom side of the baseboard, and now to let the sun bake it on, and then it'll be ready to go onto that frame over there to form the floor of the toolbox. With it raining almost all night, I suffered some water damage on this board here. This area here wrinkled and buckled up, delaminating itself from the plywood. This screw here and this screw here kept it from expanding out, and it all buckled up in several ridges here. So I've had to put these heavy weights on here and mash it back down while it's still wet. Because if I waited for it to dry, it would have dried in its buckled condition. And I need to have it flat. Off camera, my son helped me put in the cross members of the 2x4s, one each place like that, every 16 inches down the length of it, going across it. And then we laid this plywood on here and got some more water on it since the rain warped it real bad last night. And then we put these weights on here to help mash it down and push it and get it to flatten out. Up until now, I've been using screws to put everything together. I haven't used any nails at all. The reason for that is that over the years I've learned that screws or nails have a way of pulling out or working their way out of the woodwork. They are a tripping hazard on our front porch as a result of that from somebody else's work. But at this point it changes, because now I got a package of shingles here to put on the top of the box.
And the wind's not helping.
Now I know that with tar paper shingles they provide a tar strip here which is supposed to glue down these edges of the shingles so that they stay down. The idea being is that with this edge glued down and your nails going up there, and that way the nail's always hidden and all you see is just shingles and it makes it look real nice when you get through. However, I find I have to do things different on this roof of this box. I had to put in some fill of old shingles to fill in the hole that is created by this process. I'll have to put more fill in to make a very slight pitch to the roof. Another thing is, if you notice, I have prior experience with tar paper shingles. And in this area we have two kinds of rain, and that's either the kind that evaporates in the air before it hits the ground, or a deluge that gives you flash floods. Here we have three kinds of wind, either none at all, as you can see by the trees around here, or we have a gentle breeze, which is nice when it happens, or a wind that blows so blasted hard it just loves to rip everything to pieces. And it's that last one that has caused me a lot of grief over the years. And I've learned by experience that I have to put in these extra nails in the corners of each one of these flaps in order to prevent the wind from tearing the shingles off. With this box being in a flat position, the wind is going to tear across the top of it real easy. So I must secure it better. Sand and water jiggle down as tightly as possible. I get approximately 22 pounds each time I make one of these. Now, as I've been constructing this, I've been putting stuff together without taking the time to explain what I was doing. As you can see, I've put hang line across the back with a bar and some counterweights hanging on the back of the lid. I have 3 more counterweights, and to complete this process, the reason for making these counterweights was to provide a way to lift this lid up easily. This lid started out before the shingles at about 45 pounds to lift it. After shingling, it got 86 pounds to lift it. A bit stiff to try to pick up for a common thing. Right now there is 95 pounds hanging off the back, which leaves me with a 55-pound lift here. When I get the other counterweights put on there, that should drop that weight on the front of this down to about 15 pounds. That'll make it a lot nicer to lift this up. I went real cheap at the store. They had some 2x4s that were quite cheap. And in the store, when I looked at them, I examined them real close. They were nice and straight and true, and it looked like good wood. So I bought it. Well, that wood and those 2x4s gave me a lot of grief in the construction of this, but the lid and the box and all of this. And the worst of it is this door. The wood warped and continued to warp. Every time I looked at it, it was bent even more. This is a piece of that bad lumber that I bought. It was true and straight in the store, but as you look at it here, you can see how twisted and warped it is. It twisted as well as giving a curve to it. That's what happens when the wood hasn't been dried and cured before they saw it up to lumber and send it to the store. But this door is unacceptable because, as you can see, it's swollen because of all the rain. As you can see, when it's even here on top, I'm way out down here at the bottom. It is warped wood. This board here is in at the top and down at the bottom, bulges out here in the middle. So it's not as noticeable. At least not on the camera, it's not as noticeable, but it is to me. This entire frame is crooked and warped. So the only choice I have is to take the door off and completely rebuild it. And this time I'm going to make sure I get good wood. Well, I finally have this box done, and I ought to show you some of the features. I put counterweights on the back end here to make it easy for the lid to open up and stay open when I want it open. On the roof, as you can see, it has been shingled and sealed, and so far it's holding real good. This is my home-built storage box for storing stuff, of course. I have a latch in here that when I fix it, latches this down so it can't be lifted up. I have another one on this side. And there's the latch. Once those are unlatched, then this lifts up very easily. The thing is that this reaches balance right about there, and then the lid goes a little bit farther and stays by itself. I don't have to hold it up, nothing needs to hold it up. The only reason I have this is as a safety feature. If a wind comes up and I'm in here, that wind can cause that to come down and give me one terrible headache. I have enough of those. Anyway, that sets on there like that, and then if the wind comes, we can't make it collapse. there it is.